Hello, Fish Faithful. This is Marlins Daily on the Fan Arch Network. I am Kurt Semder, and the Marlins are on a winning streak once again. That is 4 in a row now for the Fightin' Fish as they get the job done yesterday. A big win last night over the Pirates, 8-2. Great performances all the way around once again as the Marlins are doing exactly what they need to do, taking on another team that had intentions of being in this wild card race but have quickly gone away, have completely sailed away, you can say, for the Pirates. The 8-2 win by the Marlins, as I mentioned, they're fourth in a row now. They're 3 games over 500. And the Marlins also now, with losses yesterday by Philly and Arizona, are now just a game and a half back of both teams for the third wild card spot. The surging San Diego Padres have actually jumped ahead of them in the wild card standing. So the Marlins are right there, and they are gaining ground and are sitting pretty after a big win last night. And it was like I said, a very great performance by the team, especially offensively. Some great at-bats in this game. Pittsburgh jumped out to an early 1-0 lead, but Miami got that run right back. And then in the third inning, they were able to put together a 4-run inning that really started to open things up. Agustin Ramirez, big RBI double in that inning. He ended up going 2 for 5 on the night as he was in the lineup and definitely came through in big spots, which is something you want to see him do. And that 4-run inning helped propel them to the 5-1 lead at that point. And from there, Jensen Junk really settled in, pitching really well in this game. Only gave up the 1 earned run over 6 innings, just gave up 4 hits. Very economical with his pitches, but got through 6 innings. And that is really going to be the blueprint for success for this team, is seeing that starting pitcher give you at least 6 innings. And then that allows Clayton McCullough to really mix and match with his relievers. He can, kind of put them in the best spots to succeed. He doesn't have to really stretch too many guys out, doesn't have to overwork too many guys in the bullpen. We saw that with Yuri Perez going 7 the night before and only needing to use Michael Peterson and Pete Fairbanks tonight. Last night they just used a couple of guys that they didn't have to use their main relievers in a big 6-run win. Good things all the way around. And then the offense, as we mentioned, got a little bit of pop too. Home runs in this game from Griffin Conine, who continues to be on an incredible tear. More on him in just a second. And Heriberto Hernandez launching a 2-run homer of his own, his 17th home run of the season. Both of those coming off of former Marlin reliever Lake Bacher, who the Marlins traded to the Pirates at the trade deadline for prospects. The Pirates seemingly going for it, the Marlins seemingly not. And right now, as we sit here more than a week after the trade deadline, you sit here and you look at the standings, and the Marlins are right where they want to be, a game and a half out, 3 games over 500, and Pittsburgh is just sinking. And they are just completely out of this thing at this point. They're going to need a big turnaround and a big winning streak just to get back in it, and right now they're not showing any signs that is coming anytime soon. But the other thing coming out of this game, and it's something we talked about a little bit this season too, the Marlins are playing really, really well at home. And yes, I know the crowds are not what you'd want, and you wish that the place was full and packed and had screaming fans going nuts. The fans that are there are going nuts. But regardless of that, the Marlins are playing very, very well at Lone Depot Park. In fact, their record right now through their first 62 home games this season, best start at home in a season since 2003. And we all know what happened that year as the Marlins won their second World Series championship. Now, again, 38-24, great record at home, and they've been playing better on the road as well. So you put it all together, and things are trending in the right direction for this team. And again, you win 4 in a row. You really continue to sink the Pirates, gain ground on these other teams, and have a chance now to complete these 6 games at home with a 5-1 record, which would just be excellent. So great job beating a team you needed to beat and not letting them back into the race, and at the same time improving their own spot in the wild card race. And again, some real positive signs coming out of this game. Griffin Conine's going to have to play a lot of first base with Kyle Stowers out, the way things are looking right now, and the way he's been hitting and the way he's been performing. seems like the Marlins will be in good shape at that position, at least for the short term. We'll see how things progress from there. Hernandez just continues to come up with big hits and big home runs in what has been a breakout season for him. Now, 17 home runs, as I mentioned, on the year. And he has been a revelation for this team this season. Big step up for him. And you love to see Ramirez come through with a nice big hit and go 2 for 5 on the game. Want to see them cut down on the strikeouts, of course. But there's one thing the Marlins knew about him. They know he can hit. You worry about the fielding, you worry about the catching. But he's been able to hit. And if he can just continue to do that, he will manage to make his way and find his way into the lineup. I will give Jacob Marcy a little bit of credit for an incredible catch in center field, taking a home run away in this game. Didn't do a whole lot with the bat in this one, and he was hitting fifth again. But good defense. He's in there to play a solid center field, an above average center field, and he continues to do just that. So good job by Jacob. And again, great job by the Marlins in this one. And we talked a little bit about Griffin Conine and what he's been able to do, but I don't think people have really grasped what he has been able to do, because Griffin Conine has been one of the best power hitters in baseball for more than a month now, basically about a month. He's had hit 10 home runs since July 9th. That is a stretch of 28 games, about a month of baseball. That is third best in all of baseball, behind two players, just two of them, Wilyer Abreu of the Red Sox and Matt Olson of the Braves, who have both hit 11 home runs over that span. And you have seen him, since coming back from the injured list, really, really turn a corner. I think back to that game where he pinch hit against the Rockies and just blasted a key home run that took them on their way to a big win there. And he's just kind of gone from there and just rolled forward with some big hits after big hit. And they're not, gimme home runs. They are no doubters. He is showing that he has that power stroke that the Marlins desperately need in their lineup. And if he can keep this going, doesn't have to be at this clip, but if he can become a consistent force in the lineup, look, the guy got on base 5 times last night. 5 times. Had a home run, had a double, and most importantly, 3 walks. Whether or not that's pitchers being more careful with him because of his success, or that's because he's seeing the ball so well that he is able to identify, the pitches to hit and which ones to lay off of. He's not getting fooled as much. Either way, it's a very positive sign for the team. Now, the one thing he's got to work on, and I'm not sure how many opportunities he's going to have to work on it, is he's got to improve his performance against left-handed pitching. The splits are glaring when you look at his numbers. All of his home runs have come against right-handed pitching. He's hitting under 200 against lefties in the few at-bats that he has had this season. So if he is going to become an everyday player, an everyday, in this case, first baseman right now, but most likely back to the outfield. But if he's going to become an everyday player, he's got to figure out how to hit left-handed pitching more effectively. So that's something for him to work on. But in the meantime, anytime a righty is on the mound, you can bet that Conine's going to be in the lineup with the performances and the way that he has been able to handle himself. So just like I said, great job by him, and exactly what the Marlins have needed in the absence of Kyle Stowers and with the absence of Liam Hicks, who, again, is no longer on the team. And I've seen a lot talked about Liam Hicks and that Liam Hicks trade as of late, and I think I wanted to talk a little bit about that because the overall feeling that I see is that the Marlins made a mistake trading Liam Hicks. And the problem I have with that is a couple of things. First of all, hindsight is always going to be 20/20. Peter Bendix did not know that Kyle Stowers was going to get injured. He did not know he was going to be without an everyday first baseman. It just as easily could have been a Joe Mack getting injured. But you don't know that anybody's going to get hurt. And at the time, the Marlins had depth, not just in left-handed power hitters, but at those positions, catcher, first base, DH. Hicks was expendable. Now, he's been very, very good for Tampa since they got him, and I'm not surprised. He was having a good season, which is why it was, such a tough decision to whether or not you were going to trade him or not, but the market dictated that you could get some good things back. Hicks in 8 games is hitting .308. He's got 2 home runs, 9 RBI, just 1 strikeout always been very good with the bat and very good at avoiding the swing and miss. But, you know, I think it's more an issue with what the Marlins got back than the fact that they traded Liam Hicks. And I think it's an issue of, had they traded Liam Hicks for something that was going to help them in this run, in this season, I don't think people would be that upset about it. But because he was traded for prospects, for guys who, for the most part, will help this team next year and going forward rather than this year, people see it with the team's track record as being more of the same. And I get that. And I do understand that. But at the same time, that is the way this franchise operates. This franchise always has one eye on next year, regardless of how the team is doing this year. And that's just something you have to come to accept if you root for this team, that they're just going to always be looking 1 year ahead. And you want your team to be looking at least into the future. You don't want them just putting all their eggs in one basket, because that's how you get into a lot of trouble. But this team does it to a degree that it becomes irritating, and I get that. But looking at the market and looking at the way things were going, I think you had to move Hicks, and you had to get back in what Peter Bendix believed was a haul in 3 strong prospects from Tampa Bay. And again, Hicks being off this team only hurts right now because Kyle Stowers is probably going to be out for a month or more. If Stowers is in that lineup, I don't think we're having this conversation. So do I think the trade was a mistake? No. I didn't think it was a mistake at the time, and I still don't think it was a mistake. And I believe this team still has enough, and they're showing you that they have enough in their lineup that they can get the job done without Liam Hicks. They showed you that when he was hurt earlier this season, and they're showing you it again now. So, you know, Hicks is in Tampa Bay now. He's on the other side of Florida. And I think everybody's just got to come to that realization and come to terms with it, because he's not coming back, and this team is going to be just fine without him. So we'll move on from Liam Hicks, and we'll move on from that. And the Marlins are just going to move on to the next game, because they've got a chance to sweep the Pirates. They've got a chance to really finish this team off, I think, anyway. I think they've got a chance to really finish this team off and finish off their chances of, you know, making a run back towards the wild card. You've got Tyler Phillips taking the mound in a day game here. You're probably going to see some interesting lineup choices by Clayton McCullough, as you usually do day game after a night game. For Tyler Phillips, he has been really good, honestly, as of late. He has not given up more than 2 earned runs in his last 6 starts. The problem with Tyler Phillips, and it goes back to something we said at the beginning of this show, he hasn't gone more than 5 innings since June. And I know he is, you know, you don't stretch him out that much, but he was going more than 5 innings earlier in the season. He does have the ability to do that. I would like to see him pitch into the 6th inning today. That would be nice. And again, as I mentioned before, if your starter can go into the 6th, it frees up a lot of options in the bullpen. And right now, the Marlins bullpen, which came into this series very taxed, very tired, has been used well and hasn't had to pitch too much. Nobody has been asked to do more than they're usually asked. So if Tyler Phillips can give you 6 innings, I think the Marlins will be in a good spot to win this game and sweep the series. And I don't think it's unreasonable to ask him to be able to get into the 6th. Don't just automatically pull him after 5 innings. That's kind of what I'm getting at. And I'm asking the manager and everybody to just give him, if he's pitching well and his pitch count is down, you know, if he's got 100 pitches through 5 innings, yeah, take him out. But if he's sitting there at, 70 pitches, let him start the 6th. This Pirate offense, this Pirate lineup isn't scaring anybody right now. Give him that chance. They're going to take on Braxton Ashcroft, which again, you're facing a righty, which is good. You're facing a pitcher who has struggled in a lot of his recent starts, giving up a lot of runs. So he does have shutdown stuff. He does have the ability to go out there and shut down a lineup, but he hasn't shown it as of late. So everything is lined up perfectly. I would love to see the Marlins not go with a day game after a night game lineup that they usually have, and at least try to get some of their big guys still in there and let them play this game and let them go for it. We'll see what they come out with today, but it's all right there for them. And a chance for the Marlins, like I mentioned, to go 5-1 on this homestand, to win their 5th in a row, and to move even closer to that 3rd wild card spot. A reminder that no team has lost 12 games in a row during a season and made the playoffs that same season. That is what the Marlins are trying to do. And as we sit here midway through August, they are still very much in the race. The Marlins are still very much in it, and we're going to continue to cover this playoff race as the Marlins stay in it, and I figure they're going to be in it at least for the rest of the season. We'll have much more on Marlins Daily and break down the home game and look ahead to the series this weekend coming up on tomorrow's show. We'll see you then. Thanks for watching. That's it. See you, everybody.